Wednesday night. You know what that means? It's Prediction Wednesday because tomorrow is Thursday night football. And tonight I'm joined by my boy, Aaron from First Takes 49ers. How are you doing, my friend? How are we doing this week?
We're better than yesterday. Me and you were supposed to do a show last night, but I felt like absolute dog crap, and you were kind enough to let us push it to a Wednesday at 9. So I appreciate that. I'll be good tomorrow. I'm nervous. I'm always nervous before games. That's just my MO, I'm always like thinking about the negative, and then we kick ass, and I'm like, oh, I expected that. So yeah, I'm in my usual place.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you're doing good. Yeah, yesterday we got to reschedule, but you know what? It worked out because Larry Krueger called me up at 7. He says, "You ready to roll at 7?" I was like, "Fine, let's go." So it worked out good, and I had 2 shows yesterday. I did my own, and then I did Larry's, and we rocked it. So it all worked out, and here we are. Prediction show, 49ers, Giants. I'm hyped up because guess what? I'm going to be at Levi Stadium, home opener. Well, the second home opener, if you will, because this Sunday was wild in LA. I mean, it was a scene, all red, but there's going to be so much even more red in that stadium tomorrow. Levi Stadium, it's always a fun vibe. Atmosphere is electric. I'm just so excited to see this game tomorrow, man. And I think the Niners are going to come out and just rock and roll and dominate. They've been scoring 30 points a game. Defense, it needed to make some adjustments that last game, but that was good for them. But if you look back at that first game against the Steelers, they look good on Monday night, and it shows you that, man, that Monday night game aged pretty well so far for the 49ers. So I think this defense now, with the Giants nursing some injuries, and we'll talk about that as we get through this stream, and Niners defense might just be ripping them apart because the Giants have a lot of key injuries.
Yep.
And with that being said, the 49ers, I think, are just going to steamroll on offense. Brock Purdy's looked great. I think the one question mark to me on the Niners is Brandon Aiyuk. A lot of people are wondering if he should play or not. I'll get your take on it. But this morning, John Lynch, he said he's dealing with shoulder and chest irritation. He's a game-time decision, down to the wire, he said. Game-time decision. I mean, listen, if I'm the 49ers, you got Thursday night, short turnaround. Don't waste your breath to hold Aiyuk out. Don't let him get hurt. Because if this minor injury turns into a major injury, you're going to look like a Bosa the Clown. So that's my take on it. What do you think? Brandon Aiyuk, should he play for Thursday night football?
Unless he wants to play, I would keep him out. If he insists that he plays tomorrow, I would keep him out. You're right. You look like an absolute toolbox if you just sit there and let a guy with, I don't know what injury he actually has. Is it a contusion?
Yeah.
Is it during the game, they were saying back, upper back, neck. I'm like, what's wrong with them? What happened? Nobody knows. And they still haven't really said. So I would assume it's not a they said they did a CT scan, right?
Yeah.
No structural issues. So
no broken bone. Yeah.
Right. If he wants to play and he's banging the table to do it, I'd say let him play. But if he has any reservations, we got enough weapons. We're good. We can hold off for one game. And like you said, if the Giants are what we think they are right now, I think we could do one game without him. I don't want to go without him because I want him to have as big of a season as possible. But at the same time, you got to protect the guy from himself, possibly. Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. I want to see Brandon Aiyuk shine this season, but if it means him missing one game to make sure he's ready for the rest of the season, I'm okay. The Giants, again, also, they have 4 key players that have been ruled out on Thursday Night Football. So Saquon Barkley, as we kind of expected that when the ankle injury, that's a tough break for them. That's their best player. Offensive lineman Ben Bredesen, he's one of their starting interior linemen. Azeez Ojulari, pass rusher linebacker. This guy's a good player. He's a good young player. And then Andrew Thomas, their left tackle. They got 4 key starters. Like Andrew Thomas is a good player. He's going to be out. So if all those guys are out, that's why I don't think 49ers need to rush Brandon Aiyuk. Like the Niners could win this game without having Brandon Aiyuk. And it's no slight to the Giants, like no disrespect. But that's 4 really good players on the Giants that are going to be out of this game. So I think the 49ers aren't hard-pressed to play Aiyuk, knowing that those 4 guys. And I just wouldn't risk it, man. And, with Andrew Thomas not being there, to me, this opens it up for Nick Bosa to just go haywire. I know people have been down on him a little bit because he's not getting the sexy box score stats, he's still making his presence known. But man, Nick Bosa is probably going to get at least 2 sacks on this game. But what do you think? The Giants have a lot of those key injuries. What's your thought on that?
I feel the Niners need to feast in a game like this.
Yeah.
They really don't have a lot of excuses.
Hmm.
I understand the game plan last week from the Rams with the quick passing game and kind of nullifying the pass rush, and the Niners didn't get all but 1 sack because they didn't, what it is. This game, you gotta take advantage of, the down animal. You know what I mean? When an animal's down, you gotta put him out of its misery. You know what I mean? So I hope Peter doesn't come after me, but it is what it is, man. Like you gotta go for the kill, man. You gotta go for it.
Yeah.
Bosa needs to have a huge game, at least 2 sacks. I like to say the interior line, like you said, it's an interior lineman that's hurt too.
Yeah.
Go for it. Those 2 guys need to go for it. Like, man, I don't want that would be a rough game to kind of make an excuse for if their defensive line didn't feast. Be like, what's the problem? What's going on here? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I agree with you. When someone's down and lame, you gotta put them out of their misery.
You gotta go for the gusto, and you know what?
Yep.
You're absolutely right. Like, this is a game where I think the defensive line has to impose their will. Like, you get it. 2 key linemen are out for the Giants. 49ers should have 6 sacks at least in this game. Now, the Giants have allowed, I think, was it 10 or 11 sacks right now so far in 2 games? It's a lot. 49ers have 6 on the season, I believe. And I think this means that the 49ers can just go feast. They should be able to feast on the Giants tomorrow night. That's my take. I agree with you. They should be able to dominate. Now, the key, though, is can they stop Danny Dimes? And I know that sounds crazy to me, but Danny Dimes is a mobile quarterback. He showed that mobility the other night against the Cardinals. When they had their comeback, they were letting them run, man. Now, it's tough because they don't have Saquon, so it's going to change their element of how they attack. They have Matt Breida. He's a former Niner. He's revenge on his mind, I'm sure. But Danny Dimes, he's not bad with his mobility. 49ers have struggled in the past against mobile quarterbacks.
Yep.
Do you think the 49ers are going to have their hands full, or they're going to have a tough time trying to stop Danny Dimes? Like, does that scare you, or what's your take on that, on Danny Dimes?
Until they can show that they can handle a mobile quarterback, it definitely concerns me.
Okay.
Because anytime they face a mobile quarterback, it's like everybody's inept. Yeah. Everybody runs upfield past the quarterback, and the quarterback just goes up the middle. Even against guys that can't move, like Stafford last week. I don't know what you have to do if you got to get some more push in the interior or something. Like you got to. I know. The way I look at it is this: they're a wounded animal right now. They don't have a lot of playmakers on the outside. If that's all you have to worry about, you should be fine. So, does it worry me? It always does, because they haven't shown in the past, regardless of the competition, that they can stop a mobile quarterback. So, I hope they can tomorrow. I think they have a good chance, just based on the personnel that the Giants don't have. They just don't have a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. So, with that being said, they can kind of focus on that and not have to really worry about, receivers and tight ends, other than their one tight end. I just think the Niners really need to hunker down and really make it a priority to stop the running quarterback. I don't care what you have to do. If you have to use a spy, whatever. It could give them a chance to be in a game that they, under any other circumstances, shouldn't be in tomorrow. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, it can keep them a little bit more alive, but I think there's no excuse. With those 2 linemen out for the Giants, 49ers should be able to send Bosa and Hargrave, and then you got Drake Jackson out there, Drake Greenlaw, and Fred Warner can help contain him. And you're right, maybe you can use him as a spy. So I honestly feel like the fact that the Giants are down 2 linemen, the Niners shouldn't have any problem just stopping the Giants at all. They should just be able to dominate tomorrow. But again, Thursday night football games are weird sometimes. It's a crunch to prepare for those games because you have to combine a whole week of preparation in like 2 nights. It's weird. I'm sure the coaches aren't sleeping. It's tough. A lot of game film they got to crunch. So we'll see how it goes. But, 49ers, home opener. The crowd's going to be rocking. The Giants have to travel all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast. This does not bode well for them. A lot of injuries. It's got the making of a beatdown, of like the 49ers opening a big can of whoop ass on them. Like, that's what it has the makings of. But again, I don't want to get cocky. I don't want to get ahead of myself because someone in the comments earlier said, when the 49ers usually are favored heavily and it should be an easy game, it's usually not. And it's one of those they play down to people. So I've seen it all, man. And at this point, you just got to see how it goes and see how the ball, hits the field. And then at the end of the day, man, I just hope that the Niners win, and I hope that they stay healthy. I don't want to see any injuries. This is going to be a first test for Wilkes to see how he does against a mobile quarterback. And, the 49ers haven't had success. So we'll see if he can contain Danny Dimes. But the other part of this 49ers key to beating the Giants is they got to stick to their game plan. They got to run the ball. Run the ball. You have the best running back, Christian McCaffrey. This is throwback jersey, by the way. Christian McCaffrey, he leads the NFL with 268 rushing yards. It's crazy. In 2 weeks, he's been the NFL FedEx Ground Player of the Week, back-to-back weeks to open the season. That's crazy, man. 2 weeks in a row, best running back in football, by far and away. He's got 3 touchdowns. Like, this guy is on pace for over 2,000 yards. It's crazy. Now, there's a lot of concern on if they should run him less. We'll talk about that. But the Giants are allowing the 26th most rushing yards in the NFL. They are not good at stopping the run. And what do the 49ers do? Run the ball. Yep. If you're going to start using Elijah Mitchell, this is the game Kyle Shanahan needs to pull out Elijah and give CMC a few less carries. I don't know. What do you think?
It's weird because you're right. They should give him less carries. I heard a snippet from a radio show. I don't know if it's KNBR, where they essentially asked Kyle, and Kyle was like unaware that McCaffrey got all the carries during the game because he leaves the reps up to the coaches, the assistant coaches.
Yeah.
Might need to check on that, coach, because we got a long season to play. Christian McCaffrey's a special guy. He's a special player.
Yeah.
You don't want to blow his freaking wad out before the midseason mark. That would be absolutely just that would be a horrible way of handling things, and they would deserve every piece of constructive criticism that they get. Yeah, I mean, Elijah Mitchell's a really good running back. I know he's had his issues with injury, but new year, maybe he's done some voodoo on the side and talked to some witch doctors and stuff, and he's ready to go and have a healthy, productive season. I mean, I'm all about the long game as far as looking ahead to the future and the months that we make our push to the playoffs, about having as many people healthy as possible. If you see that a game is becoming to where you don't need certain players to be in the game, take their ass out and put people in there and let other people get reps. Yeah. I know Kyle has this whole thing from the Super Bowl and blowing the lead, and it's like in his head, because he's talked about it before, that he doesn't trust any lead that they have, which is weird because they have a really good defense. But Niners need to figure out a way to get Elijah Mitchell and maybe what's his name? Mr. Fumbles in the preseason. Mason. I'm a big Mason guy, but I could understand if Kyle shies away from him in the regular season, because you don't want anybody coughing up. You don't want to make a game closer against a team whose ass you should kick. You know what I'm saying? So I understand Kyle going with his guys and trusting his guys and not wanting to deviate off of them. But if you want to have the long-term success and have guys be fresh in December, spell them. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think you got to give them a little less. If you're up 10 points, 12, 13 point, whatever, you can afford to lose 2 snaps on the guy. And I get where, like you said, with Kyle, he might have some PTSD from the past. I get that. I understand it. And a lot of people say Kyle needs to be aggressive, put the foot on the gas, because you see a lot of times people will say that. But you don't need to sacrifice CMC in the first 2 weeks for, we need him to be playing in January and February. That's when you need CMC to be healthy and as can be. Although he's different, he's built different. Like Randy says, he's on a snub revenge tour. He got snubbed out of all the awards last year, all the recognition. Maybe he is pissed. He's coming into this camp on a mission, this season on a mission to prove a lot of people wrong. Because a lot of people last year said, "Oh, he's injury prone. He'll never last." Okay, yeah, you got rid of him. He's washed. He's a has-been. I remember when the Niners traded for him. It was a C- grade from ESPN. People doubted him. Listen, it's the best running back in the league on the team that has the best running offense in the league. Like, it just made sense. How could that grade have been anything less than an A? Like, to me, it made no sense that people ripped the trade, okay? And then they ripped CMC. And now this guy's training harder than ever. His body's in peak shape, and he is just absolutely killing it. But with all that being said, yeah, put Mitchell in the fourth quarter, or Jordan Mason, or somebody. Give him a few reps, because we want to see this guy continue that revenge tour in January. That's when I need to see my boy CMC crushing. But right now, the guy's on a blistering pace. I think if he continues to play like this, I don't see how he's not the offensive player of the year, man. This guy is just a stud guy, man. Like, he just, his vision, his runs, but you got to give credit to the 49ers blockers, their offensive line. Aaron Banks, they gave him a shout out. He's looking great. The wide receivers are blocking their way. Ronnie Bell blocking the way. Aiyuk, we all know. Ray McClellan, like, the blocking is tremendous, but you also have to give CMC all the credit, because he's such a fast guy. He's such a good athlete. Those fast twitch muscles are always fast twitching. Like, this guy, I mean, I still sometimes wake up, Aaron, and I'm like,
yeah,
CMC is on my team, man. He's on the Niners. He's so good. Like, he's the best running back in the league, and he's on the 49ers. It's crazy to see a talent of the, like, he's a superstar player. When you see him on another team, you're like, oh, man, can you imagine if the 49ers had him? And then when the Niners traded for him, I was like, holy shit, man. And I still get that.
Well, you're
feeling.
right. I was watching a pregame, and they were talking about him real quickly, and then I'm watching the game, and they're talking about him, and I'm like, Niners have CMC. I forgot about that. Like, I've never seen a player who's more perfect for the offense that he's playing in than Christian McCaffrey is in this offense. He's meant for this offense.
Perfect. Yes.
He is the modern day Roger Craig.
He is the epitome of Kyle Shanahan's offense. Like, he's the perfect guy for, like, it just makes sense. Yes.
He can catch passes. He's a team guy. I don't think I've seen a Niner team more focused and wanting to win a Super Bowl than this one. They just seem like they've been through so many things negatively, or any type of obstacle that you can throw at them, that, like, every game is just all about taking care of business and moving on to the next opponent.
Yeah.
And he came in here mid-season last year, and he already has that mindset.
He's just, he's different. He's built for this team. Like you said, he's the perfect guy for this team. He catches the ball. He runs the ball. This is like the dream Kyle Shanahan player. Like, this is the Model T for Kyle Shanahan. This is like the perfect player. Like, if he was to build a player, he would build Christian McCaffrey. Like, if he had a factory to build a football player, he would build Christian McCaffrey.
He's your perfect teammate too.
Yeah,
he's just a good guy. He's a good guy, and it's funny. The Niners have a lot of talented players, and are also really good guys too. Usually, if guys are talented, they're like really sketchy individuals,
kind of douchebags.
Go back to the '90s with the Cowboys. Irvin, sketchy. A lot of their other players, sketchy. A lot of cocaine, a lot of drugs, a lot of women.
Cocaine.
And but they won, right? But there was always like that thing in the future where it was kind of finally unravel, and it kind of did after a while. After the coach left, the initial coach, Coach Johnson. This team, I don't get that sense that there's a lot of guys that are just willing to just like go crazy and lose it all for the sake of a good time. So,
and they had those guys. They've had a few. They made mistakes. Reuben Foster's. They had a couple poor character guys, but they learned. They learned they got to get good quality guys, and that's what it is. And CMC grew up around the Shanahan family. Like, they know. He's just
almost
a good
meant
dude.
To be.
It's just it's like written in the stars. And somebody in the comments, Susan says, she remembers when the news broke. I was on live, Instagram live. I fucking went berserk, dude. I went crazy that night because I kept saying, because there was rumors, and I kind of heard through the grapevine it might happen, and people were like, no, it doesn't make sense. It's stupid. And when it happened, man, I was like, I went crazy that night. I was just like, holy crap, because I was just in my mind, I'm like, this is the guy. This is going to take us over the top. And it really did. The fact 49ers have not lost a regular season game once he's actually played through a whole game. The first game he played, it was limited snaps against the Chiefs. But after that, the Niners have been 12-1 with CMC in the regular season. Like, he's changed this team, man.
If there's one guy who I want a Super Bowl championship for, it's a guy like Christian McCaffrey for multiple reasons. One, because he deserves it. And he was going to flounder on a bad team for the rest of his career. And the 49ers rescued him. Two, he's connected. They're all connected from the past,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and the Shanahan's connected with the Niner regime beforehand. And then it connected with them in Denver, and then from Denver to here. And it's all just meant to be.
Written in the
We
stars.
had a McCaffrey on our team. Yeah, he didn't do much here because we had Jerry Rice and John Taylor, and then we had JJ Stokes and T.O. But man, he was actually a pretty good player, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't know what to think when his son got drafted, but as time went on, I used to think like, man, he'd be a really good 49er player. He fits in perfectly. And when they made that trade last year, I saw two lines of thought. My line was, if he could stay healthy, he's going to be fantastic in this offense.
Mm-hmm.
But you go on Twitter and people are like, horrible move. He's injury prone. And once again, the Niners make a huge blunder.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, whew. I wonder what those people are doing right now. There's those people that are like waiting for something bad to happen so they can type about it.
Yeah.
To me, it's funny. Him and McCaffrey are two like super good guys. I think they're both like super religious, like super Christian, and like,
You mean Brock?
yeah,
Yeah.
Brock and him. And it's just like, you don't expect guys like that because they're such good people to be good football players because they're such good. But it's amazing how they have a really dog side to them on the field that it's like, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. Like they're different from what they, their persona.
How does godliness mix with a guy that like goes on the field and pretty much just like takes a guy who's an NFL player and face plants him to the ground?
Bro,
and you're just like,
plant
sure you're godly?
The Kello, and I never seen CMC do anything like he got up in his face.
Dude, that was beautiful.
Because the Kello was jawing, from what I understand. He was a little upset because tension, revenge game.
Why? Because he's on a team that he knows ain't going nowhere?
Well, no, because he probably has some strong feelings from when he played with the Niners. There's a lot of politics. And when I talked to his dad a lot, and he told me all the stories about what's going on. But anyways, so the fact that CMC came up, put his hand, face planted him into the dirt, and he called him a bitch ass. I was like, whoa! I mean, you read lips. I've never seen CMC.
He said he was just saying hi, which I know he was lying.
He said casualties.
He calls him a bitch ass.
And then it was good stuff, man. And then you see CMC on his Instagram posts all the week. He posts all the pictures. Then the last one, it's like some proverb from the Bible. I'm like, this guy is a fucking menace. CMC is an absolute menace. I love this guy. I'm happy he's on the Niners, man. And I'm just happy he's on this team. I went and bought his throwback jersey the moment we got him, and then I got his regular jersey. This is my favorite player in the NFL.
It's so unfair that you're skinny because I can't buy any more jerseys because I'm quite hefty right now.
Yeah.
And I really want a Christian McCaffrey jersey. Problem is if I buy one for the current size that I am, and then I have a rest of them that are all way too, then all of a sudden I'm going to have all this change in sizes of jersey. So I'm just like, man, I really want a CMC jersey because the one jersey I'll never buy unless they win a Super Bowl is a quarterback.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm
if the Niners were to win the Super Bowl this year and Brock Purdy is a huge part of it, I'm getting a Purdy jersey.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on the quarterback jerseys. I'm gonna hold off on the quarterback jerseys for a while.
Yeah, I never buy them.
You got to get a CMC just for the 23 alone. The 23 alone.
Well, yeah, that number has all sorts of meaning for me. It's like my whole childhood, excuse me, not really my childhood, my whole teenage existence. There was a number 23 that won a lot. It was a good time.
MJ, baby. Real quick, I want to say shout out to the chat, man. You guys are lively in here. Always a good bunch in the chat. Everybody commenting. We got to love it. Make sure you hit the like button, all that good stuff.
We got Raphael 562 in here, Randy
Raphael,
Daytona.
Christine, we got Deb, we got Randy, we got all the original folks in here. We got everybody. It's always a good crew. Hey, Peter Parker, S Flood. Shout out to everybody. Susan, everybody's in here. Appreciate all the support on the newer channel. I got a good comment from Terrence here. He says, this is the game Bosa gets the sack party started. Do you think Bosa breaks out of his slump? I want to ask you, what do you think about Nick Bosa? First two games, he doesn't have any sacks. Everybody's a little down on him. People are saying, oh, he stopped playing because he got the money. I don't see it that way. I still think he is contributing really good to the game. I think he's making his presence known. He's highly rated on PFF, although PFF ratings you take with a grain of salt. But I see him in there. He's getting double, triple team. He's getting pressures. He's beating his guy. Just because he's not getting sacks doesn't mean he's not doing anything. He is getting pressures. He is getting QB hits. I think eventually he'll, get those all turn into sacks. He's just a good player. And, he's got to get his feet wet. He didn't have training camp. This is his training camp, those first 2 games. I expect Nick Bosa to get with the program this week, like Terrence said. And maybe there's a little pressure on him. Maybe he was a little over his head coming into the camp, because I'm sure he trained. I'm sure he got he looked like he was in incredible shape. But lifting weights, it's a little different than going up against a tackle in training camp. So he needs to get his football feet under him, and I think he's going to be fine. I think this is the week where Nick Bosa goes on a rampage, and then everybody can just shut up and stop saying Bosa's not doing anything. What do you think?
Just wait. That's all I'm telling people is just wait. Wait for him to get into game shape.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about a sack party, because you have to understand, like, not you, but like a general public, like, this man went from essentially lifting weights and doing cardio, right? Didn't practice against any other human beings all off season. He didn't get to banging heads with Trent Williams, or he didn't McKivitz. There's a little bit of almost like game wearing, what's the word I'm looking for? Is callous that guys have to get used to, of like slamming bodies together. I know it sounds really kind of weird, but it's a weird thing with sports, like getting that, when you say you're in a contact sport like boxing or MMA or jiu-jitsu, you have to get punched in the face eventually before you can get used to it. So I feel like that's with him. That's kind of what's going on. He has to get like kind of reacclimated. But the fact that people are doubting him, people are questioning him, bad choice. I nothing worse than a guy who is super talented and super motivated to show you what he really can do. I hope it's this game. If anything, it'd be good to have a nice 2 to 3 sack performance, but he'll probably get a lot of hate saying, well, it's against the Giants and they got guys out, so I like to see him really do it against real competition. You know how it works. It's always like there's always that one person that has to ruin it, but I think we'll be fine. I don't think he's going to have a huge sack year, to be honest with you, though. 12 to 14 sacks might be his limit, just because it's going to take him some while to acclimate. Then again, I could be totally wrong, and he gets like 15 to 17 sacks, and then we're all talking. But I just think because he's starting slow, that it might affect the total, honestly.
Okay. That's definitely true, but he's bound to have like some like multiple sack games. You know what I mean? And I think Nick Bosa is going to keep the receipts, and I'm telling you, he's going to use these types of weeks where people are doubting him. And I don't know, man. I'm just waiting for Nick Bosa. I still think he's going to have, at the very least, 15 sacks. Like, just wait.
That's still a good amount of sacks in a season.
That's
15.
Good, yeah, that's good. We got some news here while we were streaming it. Apparently, let me pull this out here. Let me see. We got some news for the 49. We got some, I guess, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it wasn't as breaking, but let me find this news here. I saw an update. Hold up. Sorry. Is it Trey Swilling? Yeah, Jordan Schultz. 49ers are signing Trey Swilling to the active roster. Okay. Sam Womack recently placed on the injured reserve. So Trey Swilling has been signed to the active roster, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah.
I wonder if that means Demo's not playing.
Maybe Ambry Thomas, because he was dealing with
Why do I keep saying Demo? Ambry. Don't listen to me, people. I don't know anything about football. Ambry Thomas. Because I know that they signed that one Cowboys player who actually has a pretty decent, if you look at him, he's been relatively productive, and he's played a lot of games. I think he started like 60 games in the NFL. So he's not exactly a schlub, he's actually a decent player. So we'll see. Interesting. Trey Swilling. I'm still mad that we lost, what's his name, to the Cardinals for the Buda Baker.
Oh, injury. Yeah. Quantrez Knight, man.
Yeah, Quantrez Knight. Me and you talked about him during the offseason. He was one of my players that I thought. And he's on the freaking Cardinals now. What the heck, man?
I was pissed, dude. They wanted him.
First Bill Manning, and now what? Are they mad? They're like, you know what? We can't compete with them, so we're just going to take all their all the guys that they don't re-sign or that are on their practice squad.
So yeah, the crazy thing was they wanted Quantrez Knight. They had to convince him to get back. And then the Cardinals said, "Screw it, we're going to poach this guy because we need him." It's crazy, man. Yeah, I like Quantrez. I wish they wouldn't have I wish they would have promoted Quantrez so he didn't get poached, because I think he was good. I think he was good enough to be on the roster, man. I don't know. And they got Anthony. Who's the guy they got? Anthony Brown yesterday. I don't know. He's coming off an Achilles tear. That's kind of a shitty sign. You got $42 million in cap. I know you want to roll it over to next year. I would have spent a little bit more on the position, but that's just me. I know they went and looked after what is it, Bradley Roby? That's
Bradley
a guy.
Roby.
He's not.
Is he related
bad.
to Reggie, the kicker, the punter back in the day? Reggie
I don't
Roby.
know. Maybe.
Do you remember him?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Big, thick leg punter back in the day. I know you guys know who I'm talking about for who are older fans. Reggie Roby. I think he punted for the Dolphins. That man had a big fat ass for a freaking punter. Yeah, he was just like a thick legged. Yeah, sounds really weird. You should remember. Just kidding. Oh, be quiet. I'm not that old. I'm almost only 44. Can you believe that? I'm almost 44 years old. What's up with that?
I'm almost 40.
You ain't even 40. You're like 36.
39, bro.
Oh, you are 39. Okay, you are old though. But you look like you see, you can. I got, man. You're like 39 going on 27.
Well, I appreciate that. I thank you. I don't feel like that sometimes.
Every time I shave my face, I look a lot younger.
Me too. I was in a shape today, but I didn't.
And then I got a haircut, and so I feel really clean.
Look good. Good.
Thank you,
Peter Parker will be 38 in a couple weeks. Let's go. Welcome to the show.
Nice.
I'm 30. Guys. I mean, I got a 15-year-old daughter. I got to be at least.
That's true. You do have a 15.
You got to have some time. I mean, I started young, but what was I going to say? So, yeah. So, sorry, you got thrown off. So, the 49ers signed Trey Swilling to the active roster.
Is that it? Wasn't his dad the linebacker from back in the day with the New Orleans Saints? You guys know who I'm talking about. I think he is. Trey Swilling's father played for the New Orleans Saints during the 80s and 90s. Pat Swilling.
Pat Swilling? Let me see. Let's look him up.
I think that's Pat Swilling's son, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, let's look him up. I'm going to look it up. Maybe you're right. You're a smart man if you got that. It says personal life. Son of college football Hall of Fame linebacker Pat Swilling.
Pat Swilling was a really good linebacker back in the day, man.
What a guy. Aaron knows his shit, man.
Aaron's a little older. My dad used to tell me about, there was a neighbor of my grandmother's way back when who played for the New Orleans Saints or was related to somebody on the New Orleans Saints. And I kind of was turned on to Pat Swilling, Ricky Jackson, that linebacking core. I forget the rest of the names, but it was for a team that never won jack crap. They had some, like, one of the best linebacking cores of all time.
Oh man, you're a little sports almanac there. I like that.
Yeah.
The Wikipedia of Aaron. I like that. That was a good call right there. So yeah, so
I appreciate that.
What do you think? Do you think that's a significant?
He was called up last week. I hope the apple falls not far from the tree. I hope he's really good.
I do too. I hope he's very good. But I don't know. I'm still a little irritated about the Quantrez night. I think they messed up.
Really pissed off about that. Like, out of all guys, you're going to let him go. And the Il Manning one still gets to me.
That one was rough. And then they had the other guy, the undrafted cornerback from Texas. What was the guy's name? Deshaun Jameson.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't have got rid of him either. I think they had two really good corners on the roster.
I think he was only going to make the team end up based on kick returns, and I think
but still, he would have been good depth to have because you need depth. I think they screwed themselves by keeping Ambry.
They do this every year. It seems like they give up on people, and then they always have injuries in the secondary, almost all the time.
Like Ambry Thomas.
Maybe keep some of these guys.
Keep them. They need to go heavy on cornerbacks. I'm telling you, man, because I don't know. Maybe Jair Brown, the rookie safety.
That's what I was about to say.
Trying to get thrown in the fire a little bit. Maybe he will, but I don't know. I'm not digging this cornerback room other than Mooney and Lenore. But
Mooney needs to step his game up a little bit, man. He looked like freaking doo-doo cheese last week, man.
Yeah, he did. And you know, I got to give Isaiah Oliver some credit. I'm sure you talked about it all week, but he looked like doo-doo cheese to start the game, but he stepped up and he turned into creme de la creme. He was nice, man. He looked very
One-handed interception. Very
That little,
beautiful. Very beautiful.
I was happy about that play.
I don't know if you have this as a. I won't. Maybe I shouldn't ask because I don't know what you have as a topic, but your opinion on would you go as far to say that right now, week 2, going to week 3, that Diamador Lenore is the best cornerback on the 49ers right now?
I still think it's Mooney Ward. He was dealing with the groin injury this offseason, but I've been a big Diamador Lenore fan. I'm telling you, man, I've been a big Diamador Lenore guy since he's been in the league. I've been touting this guy, and everybody doubted him. And last year, look at that playoff run. They doubted him last week, and he came back, and I really believe in Diamador. He's just still, not 100% in his body, and he's still, like, figuring things out, but he's a good quarterback. He's probably right now the most consistent guy we have.
I'll go with that then. Maybe not the best, but I'd say the most consistent.
Most consistent, yeah.
If there's one guy who I worry less about, it's him. More, I don't know what it is with Mooney. It's like he always has his injuries, and there's always some reason why he. And then all of a sudden like he looked really good in week 1, and then all of a sudden week 2 it was like. But I think also that was part of the way they played defense in that game.
That too, the Rams got the ball out quick, and they were, trying to get the ball out, really, really fast. So I think that's part of it. But Mooney's such a physical guy. Like, he has to get you beat on that line of scrimmage.
I don't think he's a zone guy. I don't think
he's
he
not.
Does
No,
zone.
He's a press man guy, and that's the thing. If you're going to play zone against the Niners, Mooney's going to give up those soft coverage plays, and it was annoying, but he's not going to let you go beat him deep. He's not going to get you deep because he's going to be able to stay with you, get the PDU. He's got the length, the arm size, and everything. So if you take him on a deep shot, you're not going to get anything on Mooney. But if you go underneath on his own, you're going to get it all day because that's not his game. But he is definitely a press man corner. So it really depends on the team we're playing. And the Rams know the 49ers. They know that they can use those quick release, soft zones. That's what they did. They played into our weaknesses. But the 49ers, again, you got to give Wilkes the credit, man. He really adjusted in that second half because he was taking a lot of heat.
I wasn't a big fan of him in the first half, man.
He was I remember Twitter.
I was cursing and getting pretty angry watching that game.
Trust me, all the tweets in that first half looked a lot different in the second half. And I came on my live on Instagram the second half, and I said, or in the first half, I said, okay, the second half is going to be determined by how can Steve Wilkes adjust. And they adjusted good. They blitzed. Fred Warner was the key, honestly. Fred Warner coming in and stunting and blitzing.
That's why he makes the money.
That's why he's the best linebacker in the game, man. And
best duo in the National Football League. Those boys can hit.
It's amazing. But all that pressure allowed them to keep that secondary back, and they wouldn't allow anything deep. And that, again, they were going to let you beat them up front. They were going to let you bend, but they weren't going to break on those deep passes. And I think that's, and at the end of the day, that's how their defense won the game. And those big-time interceptions sealed it. And I predicted 2 interceptions on that game, and I got it right. So now I want to get into predictions for this game, Aaron. Now that we know Trey Swilling is on the active roster, and you probably think he's going to get an interception. But what are your predictions? Let's go sacks first and foremost. What do you think? Nick Bosa is the guy we all want to talk about. Do you think anybody else is going to lead the way? Do you think it's going to be Nick Bosa? What's this defense going to do tomorrow night against Danny Dimes? Give me some predictions.
I'm thinking they're going to get 4 sacks.
Okay.
2 by Bosa, 1 by Drake Jackson, 1 by Hargrave.
Okay.
Maybe 5. I'll say 4 to 5. Maybe Armstead gets in on the party.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, they don't really have a lot of outside perimeter players that can really scare the 49ers.
Okay.
Interception-wise, it's hard to say. It all depends on the pressure. If the Niners have a lot of pressure, I'd say 2 is usually a good magic number, kind of like this week. 2 interceptions. T-Gip and I'm going to say Javarius is going to make a comeback this week. He'll get another interception.
Okay. I like it.
Offensively.
Hold on, let me get my defensive predictions.
Okay, you'll get your defense in. Okay.
Yeah, let me get my, okay. So I got 6 sacks, man. The 49ers are going to rip through that offensive line. They are missing their left tackle and their guard. It's Cook City for them. They're going to get cooked up. Nick Bosa, he's going to get the pressure off his back, the monkey off the back, bear hunting season, 2 sacks for Bosa. They got a sack for Javon Hargrave. I got a sack for Armstead. I got a sack for Drake Jackson. And you know what? A special first sack of the season. This guy's been working hard. Javon Kinlaw, sack, baby. Oh, I feel it coming. Javon Kinlaw is going to get the sack. Oh, my God. Number 99.
I'm such a not Kinlaw guy, but because I like you, I'll let you run with that.
I'm going to go with it, man. When he gets the sack, just text me. Say, you were right, Raj. Javon Kinlaw gets the sack. I got 2 interceptions. Talanoa Hufanga gets a sack. And Fred Warner gets interception. Talanoa Hufanga and Fred Warner. You know why? Fred Warner picked Danny Dimes off a couple years ago, and he's going to do it again. I got Fred Warner and Hufanga getting up clutch sacks. That's going to be 2 interceptions. And then I got a forced fumble from Dre Greenlaw. Remember that. That's it. That's my defense.
Yeah, Breeda's going to get his freaking lunch handed to him by
He's going to get his
Greenlaw.
Shit tossed. You thought Okello was bad. Wait till they do Matt Breida dirty.
I hope. I don't want him to get hurt or anything. I just want him to get hit.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't get hurt. I like Breida. Okay, so offensive predictions. Let's hear it.
I think George Kittle's going to have a huge game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking 7 receptions, 135 yards, 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey, I think, has another strong game.
Okay.
17 carries, 135 yards.
Oh, wow.
1 touchdown.
Oh, my God.
And I think Debo's going to have a good game, too. I think Debo's going to be used in all sorts of ways. 1 catching touchdown and 1 running touchdown. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 35 points. 7 times 5, 35.
Mm-hmm.
So the Niners are going to have a 35-point output on offense. So right around the same number as usual.
Wow. Okay.
If I can do math, I'm really bad at math, guys. So help me out.
It's okay. I'll have my daughter help you. She's
okay.
pretty good at it. She'll come and help us.
My one niece is super intelligent about all that stuff.
That's good. You got to have someone. So you got 35 points. You got Kittle big day. You got Debo peppered in there. You got CMC having another FedEx game of the week, basically.
Basically.
Yeah. How many tutties for Brock? 2?
2 touchdown passes for Brock Purdy.
Okay.
No picks.
Okay. No picks. Yeah.
He's going to go 21 of 27.
Oh, wow.
For 265 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I got about 250, 260 for Brocky. I have Kittle having a big day. I think he gets about 85 yards a touchdown for Kittle. He always does good on Thursday night on prime time.
Yes, he does.
But I see Kittle having about 85 and a tutty. I got CMC going wild because they're going to run all over the field. I'm going to have Christian McCaffrey get at least 120 yards. He's going to have a rushing tutty. I got Elijah Mitchell getting about 50 yards. I don't know if he'll get a touchdown, but I got CMC having at least 1 touchdown. I got Debo getting a touchdown in the air through the air, so that's 2. I actually have Purdy throwing 3 touchdowns. The third one's going to be to CMC. So CMC is going to catch 1, rush 1 in, have 120 all-purpose, and I think Kittle gets about, like I said, 75, 85 yards. Debo has a nice little all-purpose game, maybe 100 yards all-purpose. They're going to run rip shot over these guys. I think Jake Moody gets you a field goal or 2. I think it's going to be 33-13 Niners all over them. 13 is being nice. I was going to say 10, but I'll give them I'll give them an extra field goal just to be nice. 33-13 Niners are going to dog walk these guys.
Yeah, I'm thinking 35-13.
Yeah.
In the end, I'm always worried about games, but in the end, I think the Niners are the better team. And I know it doesn't always matter, but with the Niners this year healthy, it does. I just think they're the better coach team. They have the better players. They have most experience. At the end of the day, they'll go into Friday 3-0. So by the end of the week, people will have a 3-0 49er team. Screw that start and slow trash. We're starting hot this year.
3-0 start, man. That's what I want to see. I want to see a hot start. And then, I hate Thursday night because it's a short turnaround. But if you survive and win, you get an extra couple of days to recuperate. and it's like a mini bye week in between. And
And
then
then
you
you
got
play the Cardinals, right?
play the Cardinals, which is another bye week, basically.
I wouldn't say that.
No?
I wouldn't say that. Every time I think the Cardinals are going to get whooped, something
Yeah,
weird
that's
happens.
true. That's true.
That
They
Colt
gave
McCoy game a couple years ago just ruined it for me.
they gave the
I'm
Giants
thinking,
the business too. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
and I'm not saying we won't beat them, but this whole thing that we're going to win 42-0, I don't know what it is with these division games, man.
I got a little ahead of myself. You're right. Yeah, then we could play the Cardinals. The Niners could potentially start 4-0 before they play the Cowgirls.
That Cowboys game is going to be tough. I think the Cowboys are really good. I think the Cowboys are really good. I know Stephen A. Smith doesn't think so.
No. Oh, he's waiting for their downfall. So Peter Parker asked you, what do you think about Dallas? So yeah,
I think they're really good.
Huh?
Other than listen, I'm not a fan of their quarterback. I think Dak is a interception waiting to happen in the postseason. But he has relatively strong. I mean, he threw a lot of interceptions last year, but they have so much talent. It's almost like, what people say about Brock. He can't fail because he has so much around him. I feel like that's the same with Dak Prescott. They have too much talent on that Cowboys team.
Absolutely.
Offensively and they're loaded. If you think the Niners are loaded, Dallas is pretty freaking loaded.
No, they're a great team. But you know what? You gotta realize they've played the Giants. We'll find out what they're made of tomorrow, because they've had a weird 2 games. The Cardinals game, I don't know how the Cardinals lost that game, but
Dak is ass.
Yeah, he's terrible. And then the other game that the Giants or the Cowboys played is they played the Jets without Aaron Rodgers, and their whole team's in disarray.
True.
But the Jets have a good defense. So, Dallas did put up over 20 points on that defense. And the Jets, Aaron Rodgers wasn't playing defense for them. So, but he does make a difference in keeping the ball out of their hands and, keeping the defense fresh. The Jets, it's tough for them. But regardless, I think Dallas is a good team. That defense is phenomenal. Micah Parsons, good player, man. But I agree. The X factor is Dak Prescott, and I don't think he's going to be able to win a big game, man, like that. And if it's a pressure cooker game, playoff type game, Dak's going to be their downfall. But we'll see. It's going to be a hell of a game. That's going to be probably 2 4-0 teams. It's going to be the marquee matchup in the first half of the season. Like the first part of the season, that is the biggest game right now in the NFC. So it's going to be fun, man. I can't wait to be at that game either. Holy crap, man. That's going to be just so much fun. So we both made our predictions tonight. We're both excited. We both have the Niners winning. I don't know. What else? Do you think there's any, do you have any bold predictions? Do you have anything off the wall for tomorrow night? What do you got?
Mine is more of a bold prediction going down this season. If the Niners have a successful season and they head into the bye week with 1 loss or no losses, I feel like the Niners are going to make another midseason splash. Somebody's coming here, whether it's a pass rusher or offensive lineman. I'm thinking more along the lines of a pass rusher, like an edge guy. I wouldn't be surprised if they go and get somebody from another team, if a team is on sell mode. I don't know who it would be, but as much as I'm liking what I saw from Drake Jackson in week 1, I still will stand pat on what me and you talked about back in March.
Okay.
We need another actual certified edge rusher opposite of Nick Bosa, like a guy who's done it before. I don't know who you get. I don't know who's on the market in about another 4 weeks. Someone might be in sell mode and they'll be like, "Hey, we'll give you so and so for a third and a fifth."
Yeah.
I don't know what combination. They have a lot of thirds, I think, coming in again this year. So I just feel like I don't think they necessarily need another body, but I don't know, man.
It might put them over the edge. Yeah, it might put them over the top. And Chandler Jones says Hurricane. Chandler Jones, he's dealing with some shit out there in LA.
I don't know what is going on with that guy.
It's all in here, man. And I kind of agree with you on this is to an extent. I know John Lynch the other day, we reported, Pro Football Talk reported, and we kind of shared their information that John Lynch said that they're going to roll the cap space over. They got $42 million in cap space. Yes. But he says if there's a situation that presents itself, of course, there's due diligence season. In middle of the season, if there's teams that are having fire sales, like Christian McCaffrey was a fire sale. They were like, everything must go. The Niners got him for nothing, like basically a Twinkie and a sandwich. They got those draft picks back. They got those draft picks back. They ended up only really giving him a second round pick, but all their comp picks, they were able to get everything back. So if there's a team that can trade a player for next to nothing, and the 49ers know they have like 11 or 12 draft picks next year, and they know they're going to get all these comp picks, so they're fine with their draft status. They got a win now roster.
Do not give up first rounder though, man. You got to get
No,
an
not
offensive
this year.
tackle
Yeah,
next
this
year.
year they need to make sure they get the offensive lineman, but I think they
Yeah.
could still package something for a star. I know you say edge. Right now, the way I'm looking at this roster, I think they need to go after a cornerback just because all the depth.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, because their
Yeah.
cornerback room is a little, not a little slow, a little being dinged up. We
It's
got some
dinged up,
questions.
man. And I know you got Womack, but he'll be coming off an injury. They got
What about
Daryl Luter.
Luter?
Daryl Luter, I like Luter, but we haven't seen a damn thing from him because
We don't know what he is.
Injured the whole time. Training camp, he's been, injured. I think he has good potential, but to me, the way I see Luter into this season, I feel like he might just be this redshirt player. I don't know if he ever gets in the fray.
I'm thinking that too. If they sign a guy free agency or through like a sign, a trade or whatever,
yeah,
that means Luter is going to probably not touch the field this year, and he'll be fresh for next offseason to come back and do something.
I think so. He might be a redshirt guy that they just go into next year with. Flood says, "Can Brown play corner?" Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Jair Brown, they might tinker with him, but you don't want to get a rookie that's going to be your future, starting safety that's taking over Sean Gibson. You don't want him to have to play different positions.
That's how you
want
people up.
I know they did that with Jimmy Ward, man.
Like Jimmy Ward, they put him at safety, they put him at corner, they put him at slot.
They put him at water boy. They put him at fucking towel girl. Like they put him at every position.
He used to sanitize guys' jocks. Like he was doing everything, dude.
I remember talking. This is like one of the first players I ever talked to. I fucking love Jimmy. He just would be raw with you. Like you've seen his Instagram lives. Like he just so raw and uncut. But like we talk, and he's like, Raj, man, you don't believe the shit they got. This was like years when people were dogging him. People hated this guy. They were like, because I liked Jimmy coming out of college, and I was like a fan. I don't know. I just liked him, and he always like supported my page. I was like, whoa, this player is like, this was like years before the page blew up. Like one of the only players that actually like support my social media pages before it got big. I was like, dude, this guy's crazy. So we talked, and he was like, look, man, they want me to play corner 1 week, then they want me to play nickel, and then safety. He's like, I don't even know the plays. He would tell me how like the business was shady, but he says because I have injuries, if I say no, they cut me like yesterday's, news. He's like, so I had to do this. Is what he told me. He goes, I used to have to they told me to jump, and I'd say how high. They told me to swim, how far. Like he had to do whatever they wanted to do because he couldn't stay healthy. He couldn't, get his footing straight. So he was like at the mercy of them. And I tell you, man, once you start, he says once he was starting to be like this nice guy. Oh yeah, you want me to play here? You want me to play here? They used him. He says so. That was his first mistake he made as a rookie, but you don't know. You're just trying to, you think you're doing the right thing by doing whatever they want you to do. But he goes, at the end of the day, man, you got to put your foot down and kind of advocate for yourself. He goes, I wish I would have learned that earlier in my career, but he was a real one, man.
Definitely one of my favorite players that left.
Yeah. We're kind of missing him.
Unfortunately, you can't keep everybody. That's the sad part about sports.
That's true.
You gotta let people get their paper,
Yeah. We'll see. I hope Luter comes in and plays, but again, I feel like he might be this redshirt player. But we'll see. They definitely do need some secondary help right now. Let's see. I think we pretty much covered every position. One thing I want to ask you, offensive line. We didn't talk much offensive line tonight. We did mention Aaron Banks briefly. He's getting a lot of attention from the 49ers players, CMC, Fred Warner, et cetera, et cetera. What's your overall take on the offensive line? How do you feel so far?
Like a C-. But like the first week of the season, I know McKivitz was going up against TJ Watt, but he played pretty poorly. And if you look at some of the PFF grading on Spencer Burford, it hasn't been too kind. So I'd say from center, from right guard out to right tackle, the Niners need to get better. I don't understand to this day why they don't kick any help over to the side of McKivitz every now and then. Because Purdy's kind of like Purdy's our lead dog and our only dog, and if we lose him, it's pretty much a wrap for the season. So, yeah,
I kind of feel like it's just the chemistry between Burford and McKivitz. Like they just don't seem to have that chemistry there. I think they'll get it. I'm not too worried about the PFF grade of Burford. I've seen him put good film on tape, but the penalties I think have been his issue, his bugaboo. You know, I think he's also trying to come into his own as a full-time starter because last year he split with Danny Brunskill as a rookie when he first came into the league. So Brunskill was a big part of that rotation last year. Now you got Burford on his own. Nobody to hold his hand, and then you got the same thing with Colton McKivitz. So I think they just got to get their timing right. Because on the other side, Trent Williams and Aaron Banks are like stride for stride. It's like perfect harmony. It's like watching a beautiful dance group just in rhythm. They're just
Aaron Banks is going to get himself paid.
Yeah, he really is, man. He's a good ass player. Holy crap! I'm so glad they drafted him, and it's so funny.
A lot of people gave up on him, and I remember saying after his first season, yeah, he played bad. Yeah, I'm down on him. But I said, but give him a season in the weight room, give him an off season in NFL weight room, give him a chance to rehone his skills. And since last year and this year, he so far has been
a dog, man. They're gonna need to pay this guy.
Yeah, I think he's a better player than Laken Tomlinson ever was.
Oh, absolutely. And he's a different type of lineman. Like Laken, most of the guys the Niners get, like Kyle Shanahan, he likes the finesse, like fast zone.
Yeah, like the old days with Sapolo and McIntyre and all those guys we played with back in the day. Everybody was small.
Yeah.
Steve Wallace was a small offensive tackle.
This guy's a brawler. He's just a big guy, man. He's good. He's good. He's huge, man. He's just like he's powerful. He's not that speed guy.
The left side of that line, if they stay healthy, is like rock solid.
It's a wall.
Solid like a rock.
Yeah. Stone wall. I love that side of the line. They're definitely killing it. So hopefully the right side catches up. I agree. I'd say a C. It hasn't been beautiful, but I mean, it's like one side is an A+, the other side's like a C-. So if you average it out, it's like a C. Yeah. That's the way it looks like. I think they'll get better, but I just pray that there's no injuries. So,
yeah, injuries is kind of. I think if anything can defeat us this year, it's injuries. I really think that. This team has a chance to win it. I really think the Niners can win a Super Bowl this year. Randy Daytona, solid like a Brock. That's my song. I made that up.
So the biggest question, I guess, with McKivitz is he better than McGlinchey right now? Do you think he's better than McGlinchey?
It's a wash.
A wash, right?
Yeah, McGlinchey was bad in pass protection, but good in the run game. So far, I guess it's been kind of the same.
Yeah.
Because the run game's been pretty good when McKivitz has been on the field.
I mean, they're just running to the left anyways. They're really running behind.
Yeah,
Trent
so literally
Williams
he just has to not fall down on his face and not hold. If you do that, you're good. You're good. You're golden.
And honestly, the receivers are going to carry anyways during the run blocking. So
I think the receivers are better blockers than some of these offensive linemen we have.
Shit, man. Ronnie Bell's a dog. George Kittle, obviously, we know that. But
Ray,
Aiyuk, we know Debo. I mean,
everybody's selling out, man. Everybody knows what's at stake this season. Everybody's selling out. Everybody's bought in.
That's what
when you're that close, that many years in a row, and you have talent, and you have coaching, and it's just about everything coming together perfectly, people will sell out. People don't sell out on bad teams with crappy coaches and bad talent, and it's just a horrible front office. Like everything with the Niners right now is in spades. It's just a matter of them putting it all together, because you don't see teams sell out all the time, especially after people get paid.
Yeah.
So this is a special group. I really hope to freaking God they win a Super Bowl this year. One, for my own personal gratification of being a fan since 1990, 89. And two, just so we can breathe and then enjoy football again.
Yeah, man. It's been stressful to always come so close but no cigar. But you're right. This is a special team.
I hope Miami doesn't stay really good. That's my brother's team. I told my brother, can we win this year and you guys can win next year? Because they're looking good.
They might be on a collision course, man. It might be not.
I can't deal with that.
Could you imagine?
Because someone's going to be upset in my house and sad, and I don't want it to be him.
Well,
and
hopefully it's not you. And guess what? He's going to have to suck it up and dry those tears up.
That would suck. I don't think other people realize how much me and my brother are like, no.
Well, guess what?
He knows how depressed I would be, and I know how bad it would be in all those years. 50 years they haven't been to a Super Bowl.
Well, you know what? I'd be happy. So my happiness trumps your sadness on this case.
Yeah, yes,
So
yeah.
suck it up, Buttercup. Niners,
Yeah,
Miami,
exactly. I know,
whatever.
but
Because you know how depressed you'd be if the Dolphins beat the Niners. You'd be
yes.
there might be a noose over there. Sorry, yeah, there might be bad. It'd be bad.
Yeah, you
It'd
might
be
hear
bad.
me like I went and lived in a cave like Aaron Rodgers. Like I went underground. I went to darkness retreat.
You'd come back with the beard longer than Gandalf, man.
Big ass red beard, looking like Santa Claus. Yeah.
Something.
Oh,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Hey, Peter Parker's like brother, friend, etc. We need that Super Bowl
yeah,
trophy here.
100%.
You stop that. I know. It's just listen. He's my bro, and like I cheer for the Dolphins when we're not playing. That's my squad when we're not playing. I don't literally cheer for them. Like I don't have a second favorite team, but like if my game's wrapped and we won and I'm cool and I'm relaxed, my brother's got a big ass friggin' like 4K TV in his room. Lay back and we watch the Dolphins and hopefully they win. And then it's a good day for both of us. We get pizza, have a little late coffee. Everything's great. It's like an Italian family / Irish enjoying soccer. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, we're very much like our days are ruined if our teams does bad. It's like
we need this trophy, my man. We need this trophy more than the Dolphins do. So
yeah, I know.
He can be an honorary. Your brother could be an honorary Niner fan for all I care.
I asked him if my niece could wear a 49er jersey once, and he's like, nah, dude, you can't have them all. Because my one nephew is almost 30, and he's a huge ass 49ers fan.
Yeah.
So I was trying to, my one niece doesn't care about sports. She's all about like school. Well, the other one is like, has a Dolphins hat on. She wears a Dolphin shirt. I'm just like, so just betrayed, you know, but it's what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. But hey, man, Niners, Giants tomorrow. I'm excited. I'm going to be there. Shout out to the Niner fans. If you're there, man, you see me, say what's up. I'll say what's up. I'm
Enjoy
excited,
your time.
Man. It's going to be fun. But also, shout out to the Niner fans in the chat. We had a pretty good chat tonight. Make sure you hit that like button. We're going to keep building this page. But Aaron, tell them a little bit about you. Let them know. Where can they find you, my man? We know that you're out there. Keep building your page. Let them know.
49ers First Takes podcast YouTube channel. It's 49ers First Takes, like the show with 49ers in front of it, and then podcast after. I really don't have anything else really going on this week. I'm looking to possibly either get a post-game guest, maybe Friday or Saturday. I was thinking about doing a stream before the game tomorrow, but everybody else is going to be doing it, so it's like kind of a pointless endeavor.
No, you got to do it, man. The views are pumping no matter what. You got to do it.
My views haven't been pumping.
It don't matter. You do it because people will watch it eventually.
Yeah, I'm kind of SOL the rest of the week. So for anybody who wants to go to 49ers First Takes podcast YouTube channel, I do 49er news. So I post stuff on TikTok and Twitter. Sometimes it's, you know, stuff from TV or shows. Other times it's me making short little quick videos. I kind of cater to the people that want their news in 59 seconds and not an hour long. I've kind of found out that there's about 75,000 49er YouTube live streams, and I kind of just don't really stand out. So I went the short route. So if you like shorts, you like small videos, I'm your guy.
There you go. There you go. That's your guy. Aaron, it's been real. It's been fun. I think you also have a TikTok, right?
I do. It's First Takes 49 is my TikTok.
All right.
Check them out. YouTube. Yeah. You can hear my nasally voice on there when I'm making shorts. You can tell me what I sound like. It's okay. I've heard it all.
Follow my boy Aaron. That's it for tonight. Niners, Giants, 33-13. That's my final score. You guys have a good rest of your night. We love you.